What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new tactics video. Today, it's Pochettino's 4-2-3-1. If you do enjoy the tactics over on this channel, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. But let's go ahead and break down the test and phase of this video, where we use two of his former sides and possibly his future team. So, we're going to kick things off then with Tottenham Hotspur, and I'm going to show you this right away first because we actually won the Champions League against Man City, and I wanted to show you that first because, I know, it's unbelievable. Going over to the main season, it wasn't just the Champions League we managed to win, we also won the Premier League with Man City picking up a very worrying amount of draws, which I'm going to show you in a second because I swear they're picking up a lot of draws recently after this sort of match engine update. They do not seem to be the same. Same with Bayern Munich. There are a couple of teams which always seem to start slipping up now, but ignore that side of things. The runners up in the Carabao Cup as well, so nearly going to be a treble winning season. We scored 101 goals in the league, only conceded 33. Did pick up 3 red cards, but it's not really the worst scenario because we won pretty much everything that we possibly could. In terms of the actual league table, this is what I want to show you. So, Man City, worryingly, 6 draws and 5 losses. Liverpool with 7 draws and 10 losses. And Man United with 9 and 9. I don't know what it is with teams drawing games when you actually simulate stuff, but this is something else. Something else, I tell you. Exactly the same team. Pep Guardiola, full-strength team. Are they strengthened? I don't believe so, but they've literally got the same team and they're picking up some very weird results, but we're not going to worry about that because at the end of the day, we've won the Premier League, won the Champions League, nearly won the Carabao Cup, obviously making it a great initial season. In the data hub, we are going to have a look, so we're looking at 2.66 goals per game and conceded of 0.87. Now, this isn't the most outrageous scoring tactic, but what it does do is get results. A 4-2-3-1, one of the most balanced formations in football, and this is very much a good replica of that. It dominates the ball, dominates possession, just a really good way of dictating the tempo of the game and controlling the games that you go into. A good pass completion as well at nearly 86%. It is 86%, getting on the verge of 87. Decent amount of goals, decent amount of conceded per game as well. Still way under a goal a game. Going over to the actual team stats, we are going to have a little look. We're looking at most points per game at 2.32, most goals at 101, most shots for 840, fewest conceded at 33. In terms of the possession, 56% in this league, not honestly too bad. It's way over the 50 mark, which is obviously flip a coin 50-50. And with a Tottenham team where the midfield isn't actually that great, I will more than happily take 56% of the ball. Going over to the squad, we are going to have a little look. We're going to filter by goals first, as you can see. We're going to have Harry Kane coming in with 44, the star man. Heung-min Son with 27. Kulusevski with 26. Also going to be Dan Juma coming in with 14. And then 7 for Richarlison, who finally gets his goal on the weekend, which he shouldn't have celebrated. It was a bit of a dumb move, wasn't it? In terms of the assists, we are going to have a look. Pedro Porro, obviously the new right-back they've got, who is absolutely incredible going forward. Not the best defender, though, in my opinion. 20 assists, 16 coming in from Heung-min Son, Dan Juma coming in with 14, and 12 for Kulusevski, with Ryan Sessegnon also contributing with 10 assists. So in my opinion, a very, very, very good first test in this tactic. Tottenham are a very tricky team to play with, in my opinion. They've got some good players on this game, but it sort of gets worse as you go down the team. Attack's good, midfield's average, defence is awful, goalkeeper's even worse. So it gets worse as it goes down. So it is quite a fun save for anyone wondering. If you want a little Premier League challenge, I would recommend doing it. But let's go over now to his other former side. You've guessed it. So we're now going to go over to PSG, and again, I'm showing you this screen because I don't know why it doesn't show it on the home screen, but we have won the Champions League final again with this team against Man City again. Man City have got to 2 finals and bottled both of them. Is that going to be the reality in real life? I don't know. But overall, a very, very good season initially, obviously winning the Champions League, and we are going to go right over now and talk results. As you can see, we won the French League and the Trophée des Champions. Unfortunately, runners-up in the French Cup against Lyon. Not the best, but still a decent season. 161 goals scored, only 9 conceded, showing how defensively solid this tactic actually is. In terms of the actual league table, though, I mean, it's an absolute thumping over Marseille, who come in not even a close second place. Obviously, we've got 109 points compared to their 89. 161 goals scored as well, by the way, which is a really good stat line. In terms of the team stats, we're going to be looking at most points per game at 2.87, most goals at 161, most shots are actually over 1,000 on this case, fewest shots against at 251, the possession at 61%, so we're seeing them good levels of possession right now. Fewest conceded at 9, and also the most clean sheets coming in at 31. Going over to the data hub, we are going to have a look. We're looking at 4.24 goals per game. Conceded at 0.24 now. I could have used this in the title, I could have done, but it is PSG. We are by far the best team in this league, so I didn't want to sell it as that because obviously you are going to concede a bit more as your average team. And the pass completion coming in, 86%. So a ridiculous season over here in France, and the squad's going to look even better, I imagine. Yeah, as you can see, Kylian Mbappe coming in with 82 goals across the season. 51 for Neymar, 28 for Messi, Fabian with 13, 13 for Soler, Ramos with 11, Vitinha with 5. In terms of the assists, we've got 31 for Lionel Messi, 26 for Hakimi, Neymar with 23, 16 for Soler, Fabian with 15, 12 for Vitinha, and Mbappe with 10, Verratti with 10, and it keeps on going and going. So we are seeing what I do love to see in my tactics that I create, a variety of players getting involved with the goal scoring and actually getting the assists, because it's not nice to rely on one player, and obviously Mbappe has picked up a lot of the sort of load in terms of scoring the goals. But if he wasn't scoring, we had the likes of, this point onwards of like 13, 28, 51. There were players coming in scoring the goals. So if he was injured, which he was for a few games, or he was having an off game, there were other players that could have bailed him out. We love to see goals on this channel, hence why we are showing you this game in an 8-0 win, obviously in the French Cup semi-final, with Hakimi driving the ball inside into Mbappe, who tucks it in to the bottom left corner. Nothing the keeper could really have done. It was a bit of a shock shot, to be honest, hitting it off the off angle. Hakimi driving sort of into a more central area there, playing the ball over into Neymar, who goes himself into Mbappe, and the link-up play is absolutely incredible between this front three. Obviously with 4-2-3-1, you got that 3, then obviously the 1. The 3 in the middle works really, really well. Ramos building up now into Nuno Mendes, into Verratti, into Neymar on the left-hand side, who's going to square it across. He isn't. He's going to go by himself and smashes it into the bottom corner and sort of drifts across the goal, and that is going to be 3-0. A little set-piece action coming in here, though, with Neymar. It's actually a bit of a scrappy one. Ramos obviously gets the initial header. It's a decent save, a lot of power on it, and Mbappe tucks in the rebound. We're going to have Marquinhos now with the ball at his feet. Into Vitinha, taking his time, into Soler, into Fabian, and that is some of the best play we have seen. Great link-up play all the way from the back to midfield, right through to the front line, and it is going to be a fantastic finish. Neymar again with a set piece into Soler, and it's going to be literally identical to the previous goal we saw, where the keeper makes an okay first stop, parries it into a bit of a danger area, and we get the rebounds. Some good play here, though, coming out of the midfield. A bit more of a direct approach from Verratti, a great first touch, and Mbappe is never going to miss that. When this guy's firing, you can literally not stop him. Neymar now. Is this going to be a direct goal? It is from Neymar. Now, that is nothing to do with the tactic. That is down to a bit of individual, just absolute quality. And as you can see, it wasn't a fair matchup. We absolutely dominated the game. Not even fair to talk about. But as you can see, yeah, it was an ugly one for them. But a great game, some good goals scored. And let's go over to the last test, which is going to be maybe with his future club. Well, again, we got to the Champions League final against Man City. I don't know what this game's got against Man City, but clearly it's some agenda. And we have beaten them 3-0 in the Champions League final, making it 3 Champions League finals for Man City and losing all 3, which does please me as a United fan, but it's a bit unfair on City. Surely they would have won one of them. Going over to the actual league table, we did manage to win the Premier League quite convincingly. We also won the Carabao Cup this time, making it a treble winning season. We scored 111 goals in the league, only conceded 27 and picked up 0 red cards. In terms of the actual points in the Premier League, it was very convincing in our favour, 91 compared to Liverpool 77. And if we have a look at this again, the same story. Man City picking up less this time, but Liverpool 8 draws. I'm noticing so many of these big teams getting so many draws. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm delusional. Maybe this has always been the way. But before, I swear, Liverpool and City were touching when it comes to the points. But we obviously had a very good season, which is a very good thing. And let me know in the comments right now, Chelsea fans, do you want Pochettino at your club? Leave me a comment right now. Going over to the team stats then, we're going to have the most points per game at 2.39, most goals at 111, most shots for at 833, fewest shots against at 295, fewest conceded at 27, and most clean sheets coming in at 18, joint with Manchester United, very surprising. And most possession coming in at 57%. So still quite good levels of possession, which is exactly what we want to be seeing. In terms of the data help, we are going to have a look. 2.92 goals per game, so practically 3 goals scored a game. Conceded at 0.71, so very solid for the Premier League. And the pass completion, roughly around 86%. So some good stat lines there coming out of this fantastic Chelsea side. And going over to the squad, we are going to have a little look. So it is going to be Kai Havertz, always does well for me when I simulate with him. 58 goals, 24 for Mason Mount, Felix coming in with 20, 16 for Aubameyang, Mudryk actually contributing in the game with 15, 11 for Fofana, and Sterling with 11. Now, going over to the assists, we've got 21 from Reece James. We love to see it. It does show how good the right-backs are, Pedro Porro, and also Reece James coming in with the top assisters, showing how good the fullbacks are in this system. Mason Mount coming in with 20. Good to see him have a good season. Raheem Sterling with 20. Ben Chilwell with 17. 12 for Kai Havertz. Kante with 9. Felix with 9. Mudryk with 9. So we are seeing, again, a very familiar pattern. Same with PSG. Same with Tottenham. Loads of players getting assists. Loads of players getting goals, which is exactly what I wanted to do. But overall, incredibly happy with all three of the teams we tested with. And now, let's break down the tactic. I do want to quickly say before we do break down this tactic, though, guys, if you are enjoying today's video, please do leave a like, smash the subscribe button as well, and please get commenting what tactics you want to see next, because I do read all through them. I add them to the list if I haven't already got them, and yeah, it would mean a lot any support on the video. But let's go ahead and talk tactics and break down Pochettino's 4-2-3-1. So guys, this is going to be Pochettino's 4-2-3-1. As always, you can download all three of these tactics if you are a Patreon member. The link is in the description. I want to thank everyone floating down the screen right now, because you guys do make the difference. Joining the Patreon helps out massively. It's not required, because obviously you can download this one on the screen and copy the other two. I will always do that for you guys, because it's not a forced option to become a Patreon member then. I want to quickly thank as well Aidan for becoming the first VIP member of the Patreon. It means a lot, mate, and hopefully we can carry on making some incredible tactics. But do be sure to drop me a message, Aidan, because obviously you get a lot of perks and I'm here to help. But let's go over and break down this fantastic Pochettino tactic. So it's going to be based off the 4-2-3-1, as you pretty much expect from Pochettino, and it is a little bit different to some of the other 4-2-3-1s, mainly because of this tab here. The out of possession is the real changer when it comes to this 4-2-3-1 that separates it from the others. Mentality is going to be set to positive. It's based around the Preston style, by the way, guys, because I know I used to forget to have that in there, and it always made you guys comment, and I do apologise. Positive mentality, sorry. In possession, you want fairly wide. The approach play is going to be set into pass into space. You want overlap left and overlap right on. Focus play through the middle. Play out of defence, because that is obviously the Pochettino way. Pass directly is going to be set to shorter. I found much shorter was not really effective enough. You were just a little bit too stale on the ball. And the tempo is going to be set to slightly higher. Alongside of this, you want mixed crosses, because that way you're going to get a nice mixture. As funny as that is, it says it on the tin. And also, creative freedom is going to be set to be more expressive. In transition, you want to have counter press and counter. Alongside of this, you want to have distribute to the centre-backs with take short goal kicks. Going out to the out of possession tab, this is where things take a bit of a different turn to most 4-2-3-1s, because we've got a high defensive line, a high press line of engagement. You want the trigger press set to much more often. Alongside this, the prevent short goalkeeper distribution is a key factor, and trap outside in the pressing trap is a big thing with this system. One thing that I would actually argue you definitely need to replicate his style. So that is something you need to have on. The higher line, surprisingly, was actually quite solid at the back still. We didn't concede too many goals. I think the most we conceded was with Tottenham, which still was way under a goal a game. So I wouldn't really say it's an issue that needs changing. So definitely roll with this tactic. Going over to the actual player roles, we want a sweeper keeper on defend, on take fewer risks. We then want a wing back on the right on attack, on aim the cross at the centre, and also stay wider. Ball playing defender on the right is on default instructions. On the left is exactly the same. So to clarify, two ball playing defenders both on defend. The wing back on the left is going to be on support, on aim the cross at the centre, shoot less often, and also stay wider. The two in the midfield are going to be a box-to-box on support, on shoot less often and tackle harder. And to partner him, a deep line playmaker, your Højbjerg, on support, tackle harder. Now, going over to the front three, I want to say, the inside forward on the left on attack is on shoot more often and sit narrower. The Heung-min Son, he always cuts in. He has a little shot at goal. We all know it. He's great at it as well. On the right-hand side, the inverted winger is simply on support, on sit narrower. Going over to the central area, we've got a shadow striker on attack from roam from position. And the advanced forward to finish it off is simply an advanced forward on attack, on shoot more often. And that is going to be Pochettino's 4-2-3-1 broken down, but do stick around because we've got two more variants to show you. The first one's going to be when you're chasing a game. The two variants I've made today are purely based around in-game situations, not tactics you should use going into games. So I want to clarify that. The first one is going to be the attacking variant, and the tactic's already quite attacking, as you can imagine. The only thing we're actually able to change was the first thing being the mentality, obviously switches to attacking. The inverted winger on the right simply goes to attacking as well. We allow both fullbacks to be on attack because if you're playing this, you must be desperate for a goal. And in possession, it's exactly the same. We've maxed out the tempo, though, I will say. Obviously, we've kept the be more expressive on. In terms of the transition, we've got it on distribute quickly because this is a tactic you're going to be using if you were desperate for a goal, if you're 1-0 down, or if you're going into a game a couple goals down on aggregate. That's the only time you'd use this going into a game, if you're already going in a few goals down and you need to get some goals quickly. And out of possession, it's going to be exactly the same because it already is very attacking. In my opinion, a much higher defensive line would be way too much, so I've not opted for that on this occasion. And that is going to be the attacking version broken down. Going over to the defensive variant, there are quite a few changes, so here we go. So as you can see, quite a few changes. Both wing-backs drop to support, and I'll show you their instructions right now. The wingers stay on exactly the same instructions, but they are now on supportive roles, just not as far up the pitch because we don't want to overcommit all the time. We also get rid of the shallow striker because he is obviously pushed all the way up, acting like a striker, and we've got an attacking midfielder on support, simply on roam from position. We then opt for a deep line playmaker on support, as usual, and we've replaced the box-to-box, because obviously that would be a player that goes forward, might get caught out with a ball with a midfielder, simply on the default instructions, because I don't want him, anything too special with him. He just does the job, sits in there, wins the ball back, and maintains possession. Now, the mindset behind this defensive tactic was purely to maintain the ball, hold possession, so you are going to see quite a significant change in the in possession tab, and that is going to be much shorter passing. We've got rid of the overlaps because we don't want players getting forward, and we are still focusing the play through the middle. We've got be more disciplined on, a slightly higher tempo, and time wasting is going to be set to frequently. This is all about sealing out the game, getting through those final few minutes. In transition, as you can see, we've got slow pace down, still exactly the same stuff going on. The only thing that's changed is this one here. And out of possession, we've dropped the line a little bit. We're taking off the press and trap. We don't want to be too aggressive in there. And this now is what I like to call, this would strike me as a bit of an underdog 4-2-3-1. One that holds the ball very well, is very frustrating to play, and will guarantee you to seal out that game. And that is going to be all three of the Pochettino 4-2-3-1 tactic variants broken down for your enjoyment. If you have enjoyed today's video, boys, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And yeah, I'll see you on Friday for a very good tactic.